Hello, trading has closed on March the 16th, 2023. We'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls and make some predictions. It's my trading plan for Friday, which is March the 17th, 2023. Please remember my calls can be completely wrong and any trade you make should be at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early high. We said that there was a good likelihood we could gap down, which we did, and we hit a target of 38.49.72, which never came close to being hit. So that's a failed target, and we have to add it to the list. Should print it sometime, which means the system is saying at some point we're going to trade 110 handles lower, but it doesn't say when that time comes. Just a reminder of what we said. Signals were mixed. Commonest thing was a gap and prompt move outside the day's range. That didn't happen. Next most common is close, little change, big move the next day. We certainly didn't close, little change. And once in a while, neither one of those things happened. And today was that once in a while, neither one of those things happened. So we have to figure out what's going on. Only system for MEJT was that this drop wouldn't stick, that we trade over this line, and we did. So that's already played out. This looks like a powerhouse rally, but I want to stress it's a three-wave structure, which means it's also part of a corrective wave. Also, in spite of rallying all day, the close, which is this dotted line, was under this early high. In fact, with less than 5 minutes left to trade, we traded under this relative low. So as we stand, that's a negative picture. It should lead to a lower price, even if you don't close lower. But if the market intends to go higher, it shouldn't be too hard to take this high out. The question is, what if we don't? Because if we do, I don't have anything stopping this from continuing. Well, here's our long-term count. I think it's a legitimate count. We're now between the 50 and 200 a day moving average. There's some kind of resistance in that range. But after having traded under the 200, I think it's going to be tough to go back over the 50, but that's still 46 handles away. We have to figure out some way to count this rebound. Well, here's the February top. I don't think this is the clearest count in the world, but it's possible to count this as an ABC, with C being twice A and ending right here. If that's the right count, you can count this as an ABC, and wave C is exactly equal to wave A. So at least it's one place to at least look for a top. Doesn't mean this has to be the right count, but at least it's one area where there is a count. And just because there is a count doesn't mean other counts won't work. So let's see if we can count this wave up by going from the 30-minute chart to the 5-minute chart. Well, I can still count it, but it still counts as a three-wave structure. I can count this as A. You have an ABC for B and C, and the fibs all work. But this clearly isn't an impulse. This is overlapping. And then you have to figure out how to count those waves. For that, we have to go to the 1-minute chart. The problem with this whole late rally is that it consists of overlapping three-wave structures. And the question is this an ending diagonal triangle? Because if it is, you have your A, your B, your C, your D, your E. They're all three-wave structures. And if that is what it is, if we stop here, the target is to undercut the low of undercut the origin. And you can count this as AB with the origin being here, or you could count this as part A with the origin being right here. But in any event, it's a sizable drop. And if that's right, which you don't know, it's dependent upon this high holding. If that's right, there's a good chance that this counts right. And then we completed the first impulse down, or at least the first strong wave down, I should say. Completed the rebound, and now have another move similar to the first move down from the February high. So a lot depends on whether or not this high holds. And we're not going to know that until early tomorrow. If we go past this, I don't have anything saying we stop here, and there's probably some other way to count this that I haven't seen. But if we do stop here, and if we do have a drop, that could mean that this rebound rally is over. So tomorrow's pattern has the early high, but could gap down. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour. Failures is a straight line drop. The day-long rally couldn't manage a close over the early high. If it's the market's intention to continue the rally, should have little trouble moving over that high early tomorrow. I mean, moving over it by a penny or so. I mean, it should be a clear move over it. There is a wave count compatible with the rally ending right here. Doesn't make it the only count. If we can't go significantly past today's high, and if that's the right count, then the rebound's over. We should have a very severe decline. So accordingly, tomorrow's early trade should be telling. At some point, this whole thing has to correct, I think, and the question is from where. This is a reasonable candidate, and I think we'll know more after tomorrow's early trade, because if you don't get the typical rally day, it's typically a straight line drop, and I think it's going to be apparent early in the day which of those two it is. And that's today's call.